Son of a b- Alright, this is what the deck looks like. This is only the first draft, and pretty much how I used it for all of the matches in this video. At the end, I will post the most updated version of the list, but this is what you'll be seeing in the next few matches. Obviously, there are some adjustments that you can make. Feel free to make some substitutions. We can talk about it at the end. But yeah, let's take a look at some matches with this deck. All right, we expected to run into Fade. Very common matchup. We got a lot of their tricks. Quest Fade is very popular right now. So we definitely want to start with a hand that has Fairy in it. Fairy kind of gets the ball rolling and can discount some actions, make it really really cheap and quick moving. And you know, nice body on Fairy, 1/7. I mean, what are they gonna do about it? Not common that people want to block a one attack unit, so we can get the first proc on Sheena's ability. And Sheena's quest is all about the enemy hero taking damage. And she has Rush to help facilitate this. So we get the quick 1/2 for her. And this timing is a little bit off. I should have gone a little bit earlier to have more blue mana, but we still get the damage in with the halt. They negate it, so then we have some options. Our 2 buffing cards are not active, and Mortal Enemies is not very strong right now. It's the very beginning of the game. Kind of a bad pull for Fairy, because we kind of want to keep the pocket moving at all times. At least with enough room so that we can explore more things. We can use Fairy's first level up. We also need to make room for Ultimate Weapon. So we were left with 2 options, Fateful Choice and Jolt. So Fateful Choice and Jolt have the same amount of damage. They have the same value, except one is a heal. So in this case, you are better off going with something like Jolt. Save the healing for when you need it, when you can actually get something. However, we went with it. I never said I was perfect. As with a lot of dual color decks, blue mana is very important. So whenever I play an action, I try every time to have a follow-up action that I can play comfortably. So in this case, we drew into Provocation Legend, which means, hey, we can go and get some more damage out of Jolt, and if they respond or negate it, we have something important to play afterwards. And when you're playing against purple, they want to use those negates. Typically, 0 players will have anywhere from 2 to 4 negates. So try to get them to preserve their board. Threaten them into negating an action to save their board so you can play your more important actions later. In an ideal situation, you want to keep track of how many levels they have, but I have a hard enough time keeping track of my levels. That was a weird split. That was 0-0-4, but it works out really well for us. So right now, we're just we're feeling out the situation. We can't stop that Cyclops yet, unfortunately. Power Slash is not at 4 memories yet. If it was, we could just snipe it. However, with every action we play, our mortal enemies in the pocket is getting stronger, and it only costs 1. This was a strange 50-50 that they made. I don't approve of that, but hey, you know, lost the coin flip. So we capitalize, we take the blue MP. That's just free real estate. Now that it's only 2, we can play Newt in the middle. And his second quest does some damage in front, so that is extremely helpful for this. And sure, there's not that much damage on this, but if they respond, even if they negate it, Newt's second attack, Newt's second quest will just destroy it. So that 3 in front destroys it. even though it was negated. So that's a terrible negate on their part, Bald-Faced Lie. That gives me back the mortal enemies. And now that they have no MP to do anything with it, we just put the buff on Shino, and that is a huge play for us. 5 HP, 1 attack, and agility. So the attack brings her damage up, and agility just doubles that. It's huge. And like with almost every matchup in TEPPEN, like you play actions kind of whenever you need to, not whenever you want to. There are very few exceptions to this. So I'm kind of waiting for him to make a move. Typically the first person to play an action is at a disadvantage. So here I decided to try and go for the kill. Because Newt's Explorer Simoon does do 1 burn. And that's risky? I mean, I guess it's pretty risky. I'm so far ahead that it doesn't really matter. What you could do, see, if I had, I was thinking a bit more about it, maybe I would have led with something to remove Fairy and then follow up with Simoon. Fortunately, does not matter. I do Hero Art animation to kind of throw off his timing in case he has something to block with. And it's over. Ooh, another Antibody Mirror, or rather, another Antibody player. This one is actually pretty interesting. I think this is one of my favorite matches. We swap our hand because we have 3 actions that kind of are like mid-game. And you have to think about what unit are you going to play first and what action are you going to use first. So you play Fairy, and unless you top deck something more effective, you're going to have to use a Immortal Enemies with 0 on it. Well, it's going to do 1. Or you're going to have to buff her HP by 5 for 3. That's not the ideal play. So we shuffle this hand. And we get something a little better. We got Amalgam. Amalgam is very threatening. We put that bad boy in the middle because he's going to get spillover. And he's setting up shop. That's fine. We wait until that hits because Newt has low HP. We kind of want to kind of baby him a little bit. Make sure he stays alive for more than a couple hits. And here is something really interesting because we have Newt there, and if you remember Newt's second level, after a second action, he will shoot 3 damage ahead. But he also gives you an action that does damage on his first level up. It's Power Slash first. We don't want him to touch that. And unfortunately, we have to play Power Slash on that one first. We don't really get too much value out of this. Because we use Simoon that does 4 damage, well, Newt already did 3 in front. We just needed 1. But that's fine. So we remove these Tyrells, but now they have handguns. But the interesting thing was they use Molsters. They don't have room for 3 Explorers. They have room for 2. And that's fine. They get to choose who to remove. They went with Amalgam, which is smart. Newt is not very scary as a 2/4. We don't play Kugo quite yet because you can't do the combo play. You can't play him and then use a rocket launcher. However, here's where the path splits. And you could go 1 of 2 ways with this. Here we have 4 MP. Well, I already kind of... Yeah, I was already sort of committing to Kugo. But they have this Jill here. Kugo into rocket launcher, you get him buffed up. Or you could play Dees, this 5 MP unit. And in a perfect world, nothing else would be on the board, and Dees's first level up will bounce a unit of 2 attack or less. So, hey, bounce that 4 MP unit. That's a perfectly valid play, except there's just... something about bouncing that card doesn't feel especially good, because they get to play it again, they get another handgun. So maybe not the best idea. We went with Kugo. We get the stats. We know Kugo's scary once he gets going, but we can take our time here, long as Newt stays alive. Besides, whenever Jill's HP is at 3, our chances of killing her with Fateful Choice is very low. So we're patient, we wait for a little bit, wait for them to react, and we have a follow-up. We have a rocket launcher if they decide to attack us with their blue MP. We have a punish. We always have a punish. Like I said, you always want to make sure you have a backup plan for your actions. Like you play an action, you want to follow up. You want to use this tasty blue MP. And they remove Dan, which is fine. Dan's a scary unit, he's got agility, he does damage. Technically it's the scariest card there, although Kugo is kind of becoming scarier. I hold off. I decided to hold off. You could go for the punish and get 7 burn, but I decided to kind of just chill for a little bit. Antibody decks typically have a lot of legendary units going. So obviously we know they're going to try and clear out the board. You know they want to clear out the board. My MP's approaching maximum. And the only units I have to play are 5 costs. Mary and Dees both like to be played with your hero art that is active. Or it's on cooldown, it's able to be used. So that's a combo play right there. And we don't have it. So we don't really have a reason to play anything yet. And I don't have a negate in the event that if we got the buff there, we could buff Kugo. He's ready to go. There's enough levels. We could make him 312 with agility. But no combo yet. There's not really a rush. I have a feeling that something's coming. So we prep the board. If they're waiting for something big and it's not out by the time I play Goddess, they're in trouble. However, the poor timing on this makes it so that I can't stop their Claire from killing my Kugo. And that's fine. Goddess makes it so we deal 3 damage, only take 1. And we can protect the Newt, although there's not really too much to gain. With Rescuer's Bullet gone, there's not as many answers to Ultimate Weapon in red. So we get a good chunk of burn. If we were really fast, they were pretty fast in this, but we had a few frames that you could just flick Jolt. Because remember, we have Goddess active right now, so these Jolts are actually doing 5. So we could have one-shot that if our reflexes were really fast. Either way, the shield's broken whenever Newt hits it, so we just start attacking. Besides, we need more AP to use Dees or Mary. We save up for some more MP before we start doing this, just in case they want to try and protect their unit, but they don't. They know it's not a good idea. But now we finally have a card to play. We finally can do something about it. However, we wait until 5 just in case they want to play something like a Strider. Yo, if they played Strider, that would have been hilarious. They try to shoot this fairy girl, and we gotta use the blue MP. I mean, we don't have to, but I'm tempted. And they use Flare, they got that from the Mage Goo, so they're using all their Explorers to vacate their pocket. And honestly, look at all the resources they have to spend. They're one memory short of dealing 6 damage to kill, so they have to spend even more resources. So much more. So you got a 3 MP unit here, and they just freaked out. So now, we could play Nina, but Nina by herself is not very impressive. So we go with one of our more conservative plays, especially because that can happen. When you play against Antibody, the one card you should really count that they're going to have 3 of is Claire. They are going to deal 6 damage in front, and it's going to hurt. So they give us some blue MP, we take it. And we don't want to take 4, so forget it. I'm just going to deal 4 damage to you. And even if they wanted to, I think Abrupt Shift Change is a very useful option. Oh, okay. If they wanted, mono red is has one really good anti-ultimate weapon card, and that's Abrupt Shift Change. You can remove a unit back to the EX, you can rescue, as well as keep the tempo going. And that is not a good thing for Antibody, because there are so many when played effects. If they use Abrupt Shift Change and it pulls out Claire, she won't do her damage in front. If it pulls out Jill, she won't explore for handgun. So it is not recommended to run that Abrupt Shift Change. So every time we drop a rocket launcher on them, they pretty much have to take it. And we have a little ace. They don't know that we have this mortal enemies. And look at their MP here. We're getting rid of this Claire, and they have 7 MP, huh? Boom. FDR drops. The people's choice. Everybody loves him. Everybody, they just adore him. But we're ready for him. What are you doing? This was a critical misplay for this person. They really messed up by not waiting for their hero art. We removed FDR for 2. Spent 6, we spent 2. So now we're free. We're really cool right now. So we play Nina because we're ahead. So you could just chill. She just needs 3 damage to get her upgrades. So honestly, what I should have been hovering was the agility card. Even though agility on her, she runs into danger faster. I don't like it. So Roggy was like the worst thing to hit with that drain. We didn't even need the drain. So we got her leveled up, but this is gonna be unfortunate. She's playing Mary. Antibody once, have enough for it again. And she does it a second time for the damage spit. Look at that, 4. And this is kind of weird. We can do the same, but we want to tear down those shields first. So again, we kind of leave it in their hands. What are you going to do? Otherwise, we could just wait for MP to start making a play. And we want that second level. We want that second level. But we have to decide, do we want, if we negate it, we'll get a ping, and then we'll have Newt run into the enemy. But if we use Power Slash, we're still hitting a shield. That's not that great. If we use Simoon, it's hitting a shield and does 1 burn, but it hurts us by 3. It's not that great. So we choose to preserve our unit. Newt does his damage in front. And this is going to hit 1 shield, or sorry, the Fateful Choice is going to hit 1 shield. Ooh, but they have Goddess. So in this way, they kind of tricked us. They kind of tricked us into negating something technically kind of trivial. So now we're stuck with having to deal with that. It's got 4 attack, 12 HP. Well, it's going to have 11. But yeah, what do we do now? It's only going to do 1. It's up to 10 HP still. And Goddess lasts for 25 seconds. There's not much we can do. And we have to get it out of our pocket if we want to play Mary. So, sure, I'll hurt myself. And I think about using Power Slash because I just want to remove that unit. But we can use this to get the 5 AP and the hero art reset, do it again before they're able to react. Because it would just take a Power Slash to end this party. Unfortunately, their Goddess was still up, so it did 3 damage instead of 6. So this comes out. We have a full board here. All of them can be killed by rocket launcher. So looking at this board, you can kill anything you want with rocket launcher. If you want a 2 for 1, the best option is to go for Ami, because the spread damage, or the side damage, is going to be 4. Perfect. So we got rid of 2 strong units, and we have another rocket launcher left over. They play Strider. I don't need to put up with that. And they have Trump card, but we increase the pierce damage by damaging Strider, making it lethal. All right, so here's an example of a matchup that you are not supposed to win. For as good as this deck is, I went 23-2 today on stream. It's great, it's strong, but one thing it cannot deal with is Chargeshot X. So following principles from previous matches, we want to set up this combo between Fairy and Kugo. And sure, there's nothing terribly urgent right now. See, the thing is, you don't want to spend all your resources on Chargeshot until you have to. Because basically, they don't care about their board until they have 21 AP. But if they have 21 AP and their board's full, the party gets started. So we're kind of just, we're playing patient. We're trying to just kind of spend MP as we get it to kind of whittle down their board. And then Tsurihime hits the board, and we're in big trouble because every time the hero gets healed, they get to pop off. They get everyone on the field gets HP. Or no, they get attack. So attack power goes up, and they got healed by 1. Doesn't matter how much they got healed by. We got a tough situation here, and if you don't deal with Tsurihime right away, she will continue to inconvenience the crap out of you. So, for some reason, they sprung to seal that. I don't know why. We go for that, get some combo. And we got the Explore ready. Kind of just, we don't want to spend our actions yet. We want to have a ton of actions for whenever they drop their board. Notice how they're not playing anything. They're not doing anything. And whatever happens, our first action has to be either the rocket launcher or the Relentless Thunder, because Fairy will draw a card, and we don't want to mill anything. But they're not playing anything, and suddenly they want to play 7 Soaring Spirits. Oh, HP? Don't mind if I do. We try to remove it as soon as possible. Don't let them establish a full board. If they want to keep it, we can just make them commit everything so they don't have enough MP to follow up. So we bring out our most powerful assets, anchoring the rocket last so they are less likely to have shields. And you know what? They didn't have any shields, but Bell Guardian's effect is that whenever he gets healed, when the hero gets healed, he heals the board for 2. It's ridiculous. And it survived. It survived all of our actions. And we still couldn't defeat him. So we're capped out on mana. We're handlocked. We're handlocked, and he's getting the party started. He still has 7 Soaring, correct? Yes, he does. And we have to get our powerful actions out right now and hope he has no shields. 7 Soaring is still up. That hits the board. I know Mr. Bamboo heals the board. Or no, he gains life. He recovers life, so that activates Tsurihime and it activates Bell Guardian. It's a well-made deck, but it's just so oppressive. It's all or nothing. Like, can they set up their board? All right, well, you just lose, especially against red, man. You just have nothing. He gets 3 HP out of that. A 1 MP action. Oh yeah, 3 HP. This is a frustrating matchup that you are not expected to win. And that's what happens. You snowball. But, you know, purple and black have answers to it. Even green can seal a few times, but red doesn't have anything. This is the final match with another Quest Purple deck. And we keep this hand because Newt is easy to use. It's not the best opener, just because people can just not, your opponent can just not put a card in front of it, and you waste your frontal damage. But we use that sparingly. We only play Newt because we have to. Kugo shows up. We can get the combo going with him, because Newt's first level gives us an action card. They play the first action. All right, well, I'm about to level up 4 times here, so we play Fateful Choice. I will never remember the name of that card, Fateful Choice. And that gives us a level up on both Newts, which bring out a card, and that levels up Kugo twice. So with 2 MP, we leveled up 4 times, and they return the favor, which is unfortunate because we're not going to be able to... Newt's not going to get that second level, or that second level up. But we got the other one. And since they try to block with Amalgam, our attack goes through. Thank you very much. And at this point, it's a little hard to call targets. Like, where do we attack? We take away the target in front of our big card. Also really close to ultimate weapon. So honestly, if we just keep everything alive, we can just finish it off with a rocket. It might be a bit of a naive play, but we have a negate to make sure the rocket goes through. So that was what I was thinking. Remove the fairy, and then we'll just clean up stuff with the rocket. We could buff here because we got our 5 levels super quick, and it's a good thing we didn't because they bounced our Kugo. And we end up cleaning up quite a bit. And we have an action to remove it. And I admit, I was indecisive. I should have played Simoon, but it ended up working out. We don't want that thing to hit us. You can't hurt me, I'll hurt myself. So again, we got a little combo going. We can put Kugo and Fairy. But also DPS is a thing. I think we can push DPS with Amalgam. And they steal it. So it was maybe good? No, it wasn't good at all. Probably better that we played Kugo first or Fairy first. They could get stolen. I don't think he would have even stolen them. So, we play this out to buff up Kugo. And then they space out their units so that they can't be splashed by ultimate weapon. But, ooh, now we have this threat in the middle. What are you going to do? Tries to negate it. We have a negate for that. You're not the only guy that likes those cards. That card is making a serious comeback. Alright, so now we have a really big issue of a card coming right at him with agility and a bunch of HP. They put Nevin down. It's not enough. This guy has combo. Boom, gone. So, everything was fine with the 0 did up until now, but playing the 50-50, I think, is really dumb. Unless you have absolutely no options. And we have the choice here. Do we want to get rid of Amalgam, or do we want to put even more stuff on our boy Kugo? Yeah, let's just negate it. Let's get rid of it. I don't want to deal with it. Takes a long time to get rid of Amalgam because your attacks go through him. And we got some cards. We have Fairy. If we pop Rocket Launcher with Fairy out, wasn't the best idea. They bounce they bounce Fairy, which I guess is okay. And we just put her back out. This is kind of cute, I guess. Hover the rocket to remove whatever they're doing, and they smartly sneak that in there without us being able to do anything. Now we have the 2 fairies out, and this is difficult because we have to play the rocket or else one card will be milled. And we do that, and we get a really heavy draw. Like, those are the heaviest cards in the deck. I almost don't care that the rocket was negated. I just wanted to get those levels out. Now we have a 3-cost Dees and a 2-cost Shino. And we have enough AP to use almost 2 rockets. I really don't care, dude. And we have Shino with the synergy. If we place Shino right before the attack goes through, that would be good. That's actually probably a legitimate strategy here. But we also had plenty of actions to cycle through. Just got to do the math. They had 5. We do -6. They do +4. -4. Results in a dead angel. Angel. And I was not thinking at the time, but yes, should have put down Shino. Yeah, especially because of that. But we get this. Oh no. Hold on, they have another Dees. We play our own and bounce theirs. If we played that Shino at the right time, we might have been able to get the Explore. That would have been interesting because we probably would have lost Shino. So here's what we do. We got this. We take the chance. If they do anything, then that's enough pierce damage to win. Do you have a negate? Because I have a follow-up. But I always just put agility on one of these cards, and they don't. And we just win. It's easy as that. Now that was pretty close though. 14 HP is not a healthy amount to be at for any match, really. So this is a revised version of the deck you just saw some matches of. And if you notice, we took out a couple power slashes, and we took out Dees. Now, Dees was not really working out too well. Whenever we would have that situation come up, you have to have 5 MP and your hero art to use it. It's really awkward. I mean, yes, in theory, it could be very effective in bouncing something like a Strider or something like a Masamune, sure. But how often are you going to be ready at 5 MP to make that move with your hero art ready? Not too often. Turn the 2 power slashes into Fist of the Fire Wyvern. Cheaper filter actions. Sometimes you need to put down like a Newt and you want to play an action before he gets obliterated. His HP is bad. That's why we changed Power Slash to Fist of the Fire Wyvern. And we added a 3rd Newt. We only had 2 Newts at the beginning. And I did not realize how good that card was until I tried it out. I would say if anything is maybe not to your liking, go ahead, give it a shot, change it up, switch it up. I would say if there was anything from this list that I am on the verge of cutting, it's probably Nina. Nina's a little specific. When she is the only thing on the board, it's a little rough. And her level up conditions are dealing 3 damage, so we don't really have much of a way to make that happen. But I cannot discredit a Veil card in red. It is giving people a lot of issues just on that front. But if you want to cut Nina, go ahead. Shino is also doing incredible work. The only problem I have was some of those games, I would end up with that as the only leveling card, the only quest card. And I did not feel comfortable doing it, but I did it. Playing Shino as soon as the match begins, and sometimes people would let it through, and sometimes they wouldn't. If you simply block Shino at the beginning, she becomes a very bad card. If the enemy hero does not take damage, she is basically like poor guy, the one that's like 3-cost rush, 2/5. So some people in chat were advocating for 2 Shinos. I preferred the 3rd Newt. But as always, feel free to make your own adjustments. Tweak it to your play style, even if that means adding 3 more negates, you crazy people. The reason for Power Slash being reduced from 3 to 1 is that you probably saw in those matches I was only playing them and getting like 2 damage, 4 damage. And that's not too good. It was Goodmanson in chat. Shoutouts to Goodmanson. He He was like, why not try a red purple ultimate weapon? But once that was said, I really started thinking about it. So that'll about do it for me. This is hot off the presses. I made this deck yesterday, and I was doing work. I think I mentioned before, my record on that stream was 23-2 in ranked. I lost 2 matches and won the rest. I was on a 14-game win streak. So this deck is certified good. You can play Ultimate Weapon without playing it like Old Dungeon. You tell them there's a different way to play that hero art that is better. That's right, I said it. This is better.